Hello, hello. Welcome to the Writers Club. We are focusing on life words, not negative words, focusing on action. We focus on positivity because life and death are in the power of the tongue. Today's power word is structure, which is having a structure and organization to create a solution to a problem that focuses on creating your plan. Today's power scripture is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And for the intro, let's just say we are writing for a cause bigger than ourselves. We're writing for a mission that includes the lives of others. And as you know, the process to do that is to start small and grow big. Write for yourself, we do journaling, we write affirmations, we blog, and then we move on to bigger things such as ebooks, novels, and nonfiction. So wherever you are on this journey, I salute you and thank you for being here today. The journey of the Life Rise Revolution. If you are a writer by trade or a writer for leisure, your goal is to write a book one day, and you're in the right place. I encourage you to start small and grow big. Start just where you are, wherever that may be. It's to start with the little things and God will bless it. It's in the little that we are given much more and much, 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 much more. All right. So I'm going to end the music right now. Great. So let's start. What is structure? So I said structure is having a well-defined, organized process and plan that you can repeat. So I'm going to be talking about nonfiction and fiction. And writing is all about the pre-writing. That's where you begin to create your structure. You start off with your topic and then you narrow it down and you allow yourself the space to write on each of the topics that you are going to discuss. And so this is a very important stage because this is where you're going to do your writing. You go to the library, you go on the internet, and you research what things you want to talk about, or you just dig into your life and pick out those pieces that you want to talk about, and you form your outline. So it's always important to create a vision and create goals. And the way to do that is to first write it down. So we're doing the pre-writing. And if you do a really good in your pre-writing stage, you make everything else easier. So let's think about your writer's formula. The writer's formula I have created is to first, number one, what do you want to say? What is it you want to say? Pick out your topic. That's the first step in structure. Pick out your topic. What is the topic? And then from there, continue to formulate the next steps in this one topic. What are the next steps? What are the other areas you want to discuss? And then think about why do you want to say it? That's number two. Why do you want to say these things? And why is it all important? Why is it connected? And number three is how are you going to say it? You could be funny, you could be serious, you could show more statistics, or you could show dialogue. How do you want to say it? And also, in terms of how do you want to say it, think about how are you going to write all of this content down? Are you going to record yourself, or are you going to type it up, or are you going to have a ghostwriter, or are you going to get interviews? How are you going to get this information? That is key. How are you going to say it? How are you going to get it down on paper? And then the next step in the journey is number four, say it and edit it. I put two things here because part of the writing stage is saying it and then editing. Editing is just taking out things that are not relevant and keep going with what is relevant. So say it and edit it. That's part of the writer's journey. And then after that, this is all a part of creating your first draft. If you have a good pre-writing stage, you have a great foundation for your draft that you can take further in your journey of the writer's journey, which is after you've set it and edited, you would go to stage 5, which is to publish it. And then stage 6 is to get feedback and insight and then adjust as necessary as you continue going forward. So let's discuss outlines. So the first one is discussing the nonfiction outline. Now, Self Publishing School's website says that an outline is important because it helps you write quickly and you know exactly what to write next. Your outline gives you a guideline, it gives you a roadmap. It also creates intentional structure. That's the word of the day, structure. Create a solid structure for your novel. And this can result in a better quality writing piece. So continue to have structure. And then the next thing is it helps you to overcome the blank page syndrome. When you don't know what to write, if you have the outline of all the things you have wanted to say based on your pre-writing research and your pre-writing interviews and your pre-writing going to the library and seeing what's out there, this all helps the pre-writing stage so that you can overcome the blank page and you don't feel like you can't write or you feel like you have writer's block. An outline eliminates the writer's block so that you can go to the next stage and you can jumpstart your writing. So it's very important to get clear. What are you saying? How are you saying it? Why are you saying it? Key in the writer's journey. What are you saying? Why are you saying it? And how are you going to say it? Key in the writer's journey. So it helps you also to avoid the sagging middle. Sometimes when we as writers start writing and we get really good at the beginning or really good at the end, but there's just the middle that's a little bit saggy. So how can we fill up that middle? How can we add more content? Well, pre-writing an outline will help you to do that. And let's think about outlines a little bit further. When you're outlining nonfiction, you have a set of chapters, and in each chapter, you have a set of content that you're going to discuss. So you decide what are those topics that you're going to discuss in each chapter. It could be statistics, it could be other books, references, it could be quotes, and how are you going to bring that all together for the topic of the book? For the topic of the chapter. So what you do is in your nonfiction outline, each chapter will have subheadings. And in each of those subheadings, you will have 3 points each or more, but it should be equal, around equal in each subheading. So you want to have subheadings in each chapter. That will fill out your book, but you need to decide what those subheadings will be. And then do your research to fill out the information for each subheading. As you do this, it will snowball until you have a full chapter and a full book. Now, let's think about writing fiction. If you're doing a fiction book, you're going to also use an outline and you're also going to use a structure. There are plenty of blueprints online to get your structure and your blueprint. So one of those is to write your book in a year. You can find a novel in 1 year breakdown online if you look up a novel in 1 year. You will find what to do for each task each week to write your book. And then I like to think of different books and what structure they have used. One common structure that is often used in writing fiction is the hero's journey, which is by Joseph Campbell. And plenty of people and movies and stories have been formulated through using the hero's journey. Now, the hero's journey goes through 17 stages, but sometimes it's truncated and shortened to be less, such as 11 stages. But usually it starts with an ordinary world and an unknown world. And the person, the main character, goes on a journey from their comfort to their uncomfort and then back to their comfort again, or back to their original place. And that is the hero's journey. It starts where the person is going on a journey that they've been called to, and then they go out and realize a lot of new things that they didn't know before, and it changes them and gives them a certain transformation that they can take back home with them in the end of the journey. And so the stages are from ordinary world to unknown world to special world. It's the stages of call to adventure, the refusal to the call, a supernatural or a mentor comes to aid them. They cross a threshold. They meet new allies and new enemies. There might be a death of a mentor, or the mentor might not be available anymore. They may have a battle with some someone close to them, their brother or something, they may have a temptation and they then have a road back to their original location, and they may refuse to return, and then they'll ultimately have a reward for returning, and they master both the new world and the old world. And that's what the hero journey is. It's all about that journey of movement and transformation, and building on what they've known, and building on what they've known and how they can become better people. And let's think about structures so that's fiction and the hero's journey. That's one structure you could use as you create content for your novel, your short story, or your book, your fiction book. So if you're writing, however, a nonfiction and you want to write a memoir, which is a totally different genre from fiction, memoirs can use different structures, such as a confessional, a personal memoir, a portrait memoir, a professional memoir, transformational memoir, or travel memoir. Transformational could be a hero's journey. Confessional could be something that they want to share with others that no one else knows about. Personal kind of sounds familiar to confessional, but maybe it's just their family life, or portrait could be just pieces of parts of their life. So those are things to think about in terms of structure. And also remember, the hero's journey is the most popular structure, which has been used in stories such as The Little Mermaid, Lion King, Lord of the Rings. It always starts out with one main character, protagonist, who goes out from their usual world, such as in Lion King or Lord of the Rings or Little Mermaid. These are very common known movies. The storyline goes from ordinary world to extraordinary new world. Even think of a popular movie such as Avatar. The story goes from an ordinary world to an extraordinary world and then back to the ordinary world again. And the person is changed. Now, how does that apply to your life when you write a memoir? You could use that in your memoir. Next, let's think about how we can continue to create content. One way you can continue to create content is the snowball method, but this is if you're doing a collaboration with others where we all write on the similar topic of what's been chosen, whatever you've chosen to write about. Other people add to it until it becomes a finished project. That's a great idea if you want to collaborate with other people and write a book with them. You could all choose a topic and each person contributes to add to the topic. And then if you're writing on your own, you can use the snowflake method, which is where you write one sentence summary. This single sentence will be the foundation of your entire novel. And then you expand with one sentence summary into a full paragraph and use that sentence to write one paragraph to explain the main story. Then you identify the core characters and break it up into narrative and with a structure of beginning, middle, and end. This is how you conceive your 3-act structure, which is another structure. The 3-act structure is the beginning, middle, and end. That is a way to write your story exposition. If you're writing nonfiction, you could also use the structure of beginning, middle, and end. What is the beginning of the reader's journey? What is the middle of the reader's journey? And what is the end of the reader's journey? And in this snowflake method, you're going to have this snowflake method is for novels. And what it does is it creates plot points. So you create a couple of plot points, and then from each plot point, you create summaries, characters, and you create narratives and write out a single paragraph for each. Explore the major characters and who is in the story, and what is each character's point of view, and what is their role as they serve in relation to the main story. This is a snowflake method. Each plot and each character is a spoke in this main character, in this main story, and you create branches further. And you build the character summaries into full profiles and add more extensions to the snowflake by creating full characterizations from these summaries. you can consider the characters just a rough sketch and what each character's name is, what is the main character, what is their biography, their backstory, their conflicts, their goals, their epiphanies, and then you can also think about their affections. What do they want? What do they don't want? And then you expand on that with multiple pages of synopsises. This grows your snowflake, and it will also become part of the multi-part plot structure. As you encapsulate the whole story in a full page and then focus on a list of scenes, who is in them, and what events will occur, your story will take shape. And then you also think about major disasters. And remember, there's a story climax, and a great story with a weak ending will not work. You have to have a great climax and a great ending. So this is for nonfiction. This is for fiction. So this is all part of the outline structure of a draft for fiction, your literary snowflake method. Okay, you can find that online. So I hope that was helpful because it gives you a skeletal structure for fiction. And if you want a skeletal structure for nonfiction, you could think about context. You could think about social, cultural, political, and economic factors that influence your writing and include those in the outline of what you're writing about to give yourself something foundational to lean on as you create the structure of your book. So those are the things we just discussed. So we discussed the snowflake method, skeletal method. We discussed different types of memoirs. We've discussed outlining nonfiction. We've discussed the hero's journey. And we've discussed how to outline nonfiction and why outlining is so important. And remember, I said you're going to be focusing on what you want to say, why you want to say it, and how you're going to say it. And then just say it. And that's your outline, and that's your pre-writing stage. I hope that was helpful. And it gives you clarity about how to go about structuring your first book, your first short story, whatever it is you would like to publish. So that is all. Let's end it out there. So my mission is that the key to faith is to help you grow from your past to be better for it. I want to empower you on your journey so that we start small, but we grow big. Remember, you are an oak tree with many branches, and every great tree starts out small. We are a mustard seed of faith that can grow bigger, and we can provide shade to those who rest under our branches. We have no fear. We go deep to go far. Your book can go deep and change people's lives. It can be meaningful and add value. It can be creative just as long as you are true to you. The truth shall set us all free. Talk to you later on another video.